My name is Doug Green. I'm the Senior Vice President and Director of Corporate Development at MedOne. Basically what that means is I'm the MedOne storyteller, and I think MedOne has a great story to tell. The two stars in our story are our healthcare providers that provide great care to patients, and our vendor partners who give them the equipment that they need. We're there to help bring those two stars together. And I really do feel like it is an incredible story and a good story to tell, so I'm glad to be here to share it with you today. You know, there's a lot of talk about strategy out there, and strategy means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and it's a term that gets thrown around quite a bit, but what does it really mean, right? How does it really benefit people? The way I look at strategy is there's three parts to it. There's kind of the whiteboard part where you go in on a whiteboard, you figure out what you want to do, and then you move it forward. The next step would be, to use a military term, the tactical part, where you go in and you say, okay, what are the resources, what's the infrastructure, what are the operators, what is the gear that we need to accomplish this? And then the third part of it is actually going out and accomplishing it, right? The execution part. So what we at MedOne want to do is be there with all three parts with you, and we feel like we can. For vendor manufacturers, what they want to do is sell equipment to hospitals. So they want to develop a strategy to do that. The whiteboarding part, we can help you with that. That's where the vision comes in, that's where the inspiration comes in. We've got 30 years of experience in just this market. This is what we do as healthcare. We know it well, we feel like we can lend some expertise. Then you get to that tactical part, right? How do you take it to market? How do you get it to your customers? How do you train your sales reps? We feel like we can help with that too. We've got a great marketing team. We can provide you with all the marketing collateral that you need. We can strategize with you on how you get that to your reps, how you train them, and then we help roll that out and get it to the hospitals. The third part of that is the execution, right? Which is always the hardest part. I think all the world's problems have probably been solved 2 times over on a whiteboard. And sometimes they get to that tactical part, but very rarely do they get to that execution part because that's where it's so hard. And I think that's where we can be the most help. We come in and we're in there with the trenches with you, right? We've got our own outside sales force that's working hand in hand with you, industry experts. We have good hospital relationships. We know what they need. We can go in there with you and be that really strategic partner, not just to get you from the whiteboard, but to get that sell done and to get the hospital the equipment that they need. I think medical device vendors are looking for a couple different things in a leasing partner. One is they want someone who will listen to them, right? They have a great expertise. They have great equipment that they sell. They have something that's really good for healthcare providers to take care of patients, but they need someone who will listen to them and the challenges that they have as they try and take that to market, right? Every piece of equipment's a little bit different, every vendor's a little bit different, and every hospital situation can be different. So they need a partner who will listen to them, help them understand what they need, and then plug into that and give them the solution that will drive that forward. I think the second thing is they want a vendor partner or a leasing partner who will make them look good, right? They have great equipment. The analogy that I like to use is you can go out and buy a really expensive suit, right? You go to Brooks Brothers and buy something off the rack that's super expensive, the greatest quality out there, great craftsmanship, but what makes a suit is the customization, the tailoring, right? So could you imagine like James Bond getting out of his Aston Martin in a really expensive suit, but it's fitting him baggy, or the hem on the pant leg is a little too high, He just wouldn't be James Bond without it. So we want our sales reps that we partner with going into the hospital feeling good, like they have a great solution that's tailored exactly to their equipment and to what the hospital needs. So there's lots of other things that go into it, but I think those are the two most important things, listening to them and giving them a really tailored custom solution. There's lots of hurdles that vendors face, and vendor sales reps are great. They're very good at what they do. It's a tough slog for them. First of all, they have to compete with other vendors who are very good at what they do to become the manufacturer of choice. So it's a long sales cycle. They've spent a lot of time and energy trying to get their equipment in there. And the last thing that we want to see happen is, they've gone through this tough fight, they become the vendor of choice, the hospital likes their equipment, but then the hospital can't get their equipment for whatever reasons, because maybe a cash deal isn't on the table at that particular moment. So I think some of the biggest challenges that a vendor face when they get to that point is really understanding what will work for a hospital and giving them alternative ways to acquire or get access to that equipment. And that's where we come in. That's our specialty. We can team with them to give them lots of different solutions. Talking to the hospital, again, bringing that suit analogy into it, giving them a tailored suit that's going to fit them perfectly, and giving them a tailored solution that's going to fit them perfectly to get that equipment in there. Yeah, so cash isn't always available to hospitals, or maybe they want to conserve their cash, or maybe they want to cash flow things a little bit better. So having a solution that provides that to a hospital just gives them different ways of acquiring equipment, right? And again, what Med1 does is we say, hey, what's going to work for you? Tell us what works for you, what's going to make the most sense, and then we come in and we provide that. We've seen during COVID, for example, that there's a lot of hospitals that have turned to shorter-term solutions. I think that just fits better in how they're budgeting. They don't want to make long-term commitments on equipment. They want something simple and easy to get the equipment that they want without requiring a long-term commitment. So we've been able to come in there and help them with that. And when we do that, that manufacturer's equipment comes right into that hospital because of it. Yeah, I think there's a living example right now with COVID. Hospitals, especially ICUs, are jam-packed with people suffering from COVID-19. And as soon as COVID hit, it seems like all our manufacturers came screaming to us, needing help, because everyone was trying to get equipment out the door to help these hospitals, to help these patients. And it was really cool to see all that really come together, where we saw Med1, our manufacturing partners, our rental team, really just shoving as much equipment out the door as they could. A lot of manufacturers' normal needs were, they kind of let them go to help people out. At Med1, we were bending over backwards to get equipment out the door and to provide the means for hospitals to get this equipment. So I think this last year has been a bad one for a lot of reasons. And sometimes people say, did anything good ever come out of 2020? And I think it did. I think you saw a lot of people in healthcare come together to really help people who were suffering from this. And that's our manufacturing partners, that's our healthcare givers, healthcare providers that we partner with. Again, the two stars of our story, right? They really came together to help people out, and we were fortunate enough to be part of that. One of the things I love to do is work for a company that makes a difference. And sometimes, we talk about how, we want to put more equipment on the hospitals, we want to increase sales. Yeah, we want to do that. That's great for everybody. But one thing that I think sometimes gets missed in this industry is when that equipment gets placed in a hospital, it's giving incredibly talented people the gear that they need to really change people's lives. And to say that we can be part of that process of helping them out because we're helping these clinicians get the equipment from the manufacturers that they need to take care of them, I think is pretty cool. And it makes me feel good about what I do. So yeah, I enjoy working for Med1, not just because it's a great place with great people, but because it makes a difference in people's lives.